Yeah, again, Dort got off to a good start, making shots. Then the snowball began. They were very comfortable. Um, and I think there's a comfort with teams right now when they come in our building and they step on our floor. And we got to flip that. We got to find a way to flip that physically, mentally as well. This is as much a mental challenge as it is a physical. These teams are coming in with an edge. Obviously, these are two of the best teams. These two teams we just played are going to fight for the NBA title this year. That's the reality. I feel like every OKC team they play, the next morning there's a players meeting by that team. Right? They do this to teams. They're elite. And winning is something that you just don't roll into. These are habits. These are identities. These are formed over time. And it took them many, many years to get there. They've been in these days before, and so we'll continue to fight. We'll continue to, get after it. And there's no easy solution here. But yeah, to your point, first quarter's got to be better. We're giving up 45 in the last two quarters. That's unacceptable defensively. I don't care, how many shooters they have on the floor. 45 is too many. 40 is too many. 30 is too many. So we got to do a better job there.
Just looking at Michael Peavy, the minutes he played, I know it's been a struggle for him to kind of get going offensively. Seemed to kind of find a couple of things tonight. Just what did you see from Michael?
Yeah, I thought he came out, gave us great energy, crashing the boards defensively. He really impacted that game, so really proud of him. He responded tonight. That was a bright spot for sure. I thought Fears was good too. I thought Fears was really good. I think his downhill, he looked like he belonged in that game. For a rookie to look like he belongs right now, that was a bright spot.
When you look at the list of the best defensive teams in the league, it's the Thunder, and it's a big gap between number one and two. For a team as young as they are, how unusual is it for them to have that much separation over the rest of the league defensively? And what is it that they like? How are they able to achieve that too?
Well, I think it starts with great effort. Every one of their guys, their identity is to guard number one. You can see it on each one of them. There's a responsibility and a pride about them. One-on-one, they take pride in their matchup. That's where the defense starts. The best defenses I've ever been a part of, I've been fortunate to be around. In San Antonio, we were at the top of that thing every year. Each one of those guys, number one, took pride in their defense, period. There was a scheme in place that they trusted. So having a scheme in place that they trusted night to night, they understood. I'm assuming these guys understand the principles, the shots they're trying to give up. There's a scramble mentality. When there's a fire, they tend to put it out. Even when we had advantage tonight, they're in rotation. Someone covered for them. I think rim protection is obviously a big major thing. They have two rim protectors out there that are big at the rim. They make it tough when you get downhill. They force you into that mid-range, then they scramble out, And to their scheme, they give up threes. I don't know why teams don't make their threes against them, And then there's just an overall belief that this is who we are. And Sam and Mark have done a great job building that identity. This is who we are. They draft to it, they develop it, and it's a part of their DNA. And and I think Sam had that in San Antonio. He saw a lot of that, and he understood the value of defense. And to win in this league, you need to have that. So, tonight we found some aggression at least. I think it looks right now like our strength is our aggression defensively. When we just sit back and let teams play, we're on our heels. Teams look pretty comfortable. When we picked up with pressure, we started to deny, we trapped a little bit. They didn't feel very comfortable there. That's probably where we got to live for a little bit. We can't do that for 48 minutes, but at least it gave us a little bit of a hold on that game.
Just double checking, did OKC send you guys into a players-only meeting?
No, we're okay. We're okay.
What moments about fear made you think that he belonged?
It's just this, there's a fearlessness about him. I would say there's just a fearlessness about him mixed with some poise, that he's comfortable getting downhill, and making plays. You know, even against this elite defense, I felt like he was by them a couple times. They couldn't catch him. You know, he was just downhill to the rim, downhill making plays for others. I don't think we've even tapped into the amount of force. He's going to be a great playmaker in this league as he ages. And I'd expect him throughout this year to be one of those guys that can simply touch the paint and kick out and spray. You know, the guy I've been comfortable with is, well, there's two guys. I guess Tony Parker had that speed that he could get down here. He was a natural scorer when he came into the NBA at that time, you know, at a young age. He learned how to be a point guard, though. He learned how to run the show and game management. There's layers to this. We're throwing this guy. I think he could be a freshman in college this year. You know, and he's going against these guys. It's amazing, you know. But I love his fearlessness, his swagger, his approach to the game. Obviously, his speed. So he belongs.
You mentioned before the game that you really were pushing Carlo and Eve to do better on the boards. You ended up starting Carlo in that second half. Just what did you kind of see from those guys, and what do you want to see from them going forward?
I think just overall aggression and activity. If we are going to do this defensively, they have to be a big part of anchoring the paint. And they're young bigs. Like they're Eve's in his second year. He just came out of his rookie year. You know, there's a learning curve. There's got to be a physicality about us, and there's got to be a knack to go rebound. And you know, we're trying to get all of that right now with a young group. So, but I love their activity. I love their activity on the board. They can run end to end. They're both lob threats. Overall, my challenge for them is rebound and bring a physicality to the table every night. You look at the two bigs we just played against. Chet's a physical big. Hartenstein's a very physical big. You know, and they anchor that paint. Our goal is to grow that in both these guys. And you know, at the second half, I just thought Carlo and Queen were a good pairing in the first half, so I tried it there to start the third quarter. Unfortunately, we just didn't get off to a good start. We had some momentum. We just didn't get off to a good start in the third.
There were a few instances during the game where we kind of saw you trying to put your imprint on the game. You mentioned up in the pressure in the second half, drawing up a play, the lob play to start off the third quarter. I guess what's your kind of goal in those moments as you're stepping into this role, just trying to establish, you know, your principles and what you want this to look like with you in charge?
I think my goal in this role right now is to ignite some aggression. When I don't see aggression, I try to manufacture it in some ways as the head coach. Right? So you can do that through your defense, a little bit through your offense. I'll get more comfortable calling, you know, making some, you know, offensive calls. We have yet to have a practice on any of this stuff, so this is all new for us. We're learning on the fly. But we tried as a staff tonight to bring our aggression defensively, you know, to flip the game. And if you just sit back on your heels against OKC, they're going to be downhill in the aggressors all night. I wish I had started pressing earlier. I wish I had started the game in pressure and aggression. If I'm looking back, I would have said we should be starting in that the whole time. But that's what, you know, that's my job, is to try to flip the aggressor through the offensive end or the defensive end. And I think we tried to, you know, help our group tonight.
Coach, obviously tough stretch for you at home. As a coach, what's more important to you, like the X's and O's or the psychological side of, you know, coaching, like
question.
delivering the right message and stuff?
Great question. It's the spirit right now and the mindset right now. That trumps all. Trying to get this group to believe, to trust one another, to have resiliency. You know, the X's and O's are one thing. We're gonna have to fix that and correct that along the way. You know, as we go, we have yet to have one, you know, practice together with this new unit. But more than anything right now, it's the spirit, it's the mindset, it's a belief, it's a confidence, it's a trust. That is my number one thing right now on the table. When we get dinged and we come to a timeout, stay the course, stay resilient, tough, next play. We're not there yet. We got a ways to go. We got a ways to go. But what I'll say is I've seen stretches of it. Last night, I saw a stretch of it. We got back in the game down. Tonight, out of it, we strike back, we come back. And we hung in there, you know, against, you know, this team beats, I don't even know what they're beating teams by, but they do this to everybody. So I saw that resiliency, that response tonight. We just got to do it more.
What was your message to the young guys, especially?
the young guys, stay with it. It's a long year, we believe in you. We trust you. Keep growing. Keep asking questions. Stay curious. How do I get better? This is a lot for them right now. This is a lot, and it doesn't get it easier. We get a team that's very good coming in the next night. So stay fresh, stay positive, and keep moving forward.
James, was it intentional for you to play 9 guys at least 20 minutes? I think Trey was the only one that exceeded 30. Is this part of like what you told us a couple of days ago? You're really trying to find the right rotations, or is it you're trying to get everybody out there together so it feels like everybody's in this together because you're talking about that mental side?
Yeah. Yeah, on the back-to-back, that was part of it. We wanted to play, some different lineups. We're exploring some different things. We have a script going in on rotations, and the game just felt like, we were looking for different lineups and trying some different things. So the script, we went off script a little bit. PV, we found a group that had some rhythm, and I wrote it, and sometimes guys, ran a little bit shorter or longer, but I'm proud of the group that they stepped up. I thought like the PV, the Bryce, those guys off the bench, Carlos stepped up into those minutes and did a very good job. So to answer your question, we're just trying to explore right now and see what we can find.
And I know you're not a rebounding team, so small, little, impressive stats or something, I know it's not going to be something you're looking at, but still, against OKC, you held them to 9 fast break points, you forced 18 turnovers, then you scored 30 points off of those turnovers. Are those like wins? Can you show that to the group? Is that what you're trying to build on?
It's a win. Yeah, it's a win. I think coming out of last night, we did not convert our turnovers last night, right? If we converted last night, we'd be in a better spot. Tonight, we did a better job of that. I thought when we turned them over, we're aggressive. We converted it, or at least we got shots on the other end, so that's growth. Yep.
In that vein, like when wins are difficult to come by, how are you measuring progress like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, there has to be a process. The things we value, defensively and offensively, I've got to be much clearer with the group what that is, the value of the defensive possessions, what we're looking to take away. And right now, as I said, the focus for me is the transition defense, protecting the paint, and rebounding. We're going to measure it by that. So we'll go back, watch the film, dig in, and adjust accordingly. Offensively, the pillars are, can we play with great pace? We're trying to work on that, convert our turnovers, continue to crash the offensive boards and not turn the ball over. A thing that has been a little tough right now is just our ball movement's got to get better. That's just a piece of who I am, and it's my job to get them there, to trust the pass, to move the ball, to share it, and we'll get there. So I'd rather measure it in that vein of those benchmarks. And you're going to win some in this game, you're going to lose some, but as long as we're making strides in those areas.
In regards to that ball movement, what's the balance between just kind of like aimlessly playing hot potato to just reach a number of passes versus moving it with intention to create advantages or have intentional reversals to change the angle of the pass?
Well, the toughest thing to guard right now in the NBA are these closeouts, right? So you want to have attacking drives to pull in the defense and then make the kick, obviously. Sometimes you simply need to reverse the ball, though. And there's just some handoffs that simply move the ball to the second side. You don't want to live in that all the time. It's tough to turn the corner with these guys. But I thought there was a stretch that I'm probably going to watch. I'm going to be pretty excited about in the second quarter where we were getting downhill. Against their defense, we were swinging it, driving it, kicking it. That's the vision for this type of an offense. We're not there consistently, but we want to put pressure on the paint. Sometimes that's with the drive, a handoff, a pocket pass, something like that. But I feel like at times we're playing too much on the perimeter. We got to have, scoring threats downhill.
How do you feel DQ has handled the slightly altered, role in the last 2 games?
I thought he's done well. I mean, this is new for him. He's going against starting centers, and I saw some good tonight. The rebounding is legit. He can rebound the ball. And if you're going to be a starter, in this league, you got to be able to rebound the ball against these bigs. And I thought he gave us good minutes there. Obviously, he's trying to make plays for us too, and he means well. And sometimes he gets a little bit out of hand, But I trust him. I believe in him. We need him to make plays for us. There's not, currently as we stand, we're missing 2 playmakers, 2 scorers. that produce a lot for us. And so I trust him. He's got to make plays. I thought he's done a good job handling those minutes.
To what extent have you found that you have to live with turnovers with rookies
Mm.
who handle the ball a lot?
Mm. Well, I lived through some of that in Charlotte, and LaMelo was Rookie of the Year, and then his second year he was an All-Star. But he would drive me crazy with the turnovers. It's just part of the growth process, and they mean well, but a pass that was probably there in college or high school, right? It's not there. The length and the size, especially against a defense like this, isn't there. So part of this is you got to go let them explore. You have to let them go experience this. It's my job to coach them, and the secondly is the better space we are, the better decisions they can make. So it's twofold. It's his teammates, their teammates, and then making good decisions. But for us to get where we want to with Fears and Queen, we've got to let them go at times.